So my wife and I got married really young, and I was 20 years old. My wife was 19. We had a 5-year plan to start having kids, but we became a family really quickly, actually. My U-Haul was packed in my front yard. My wife and I were moving on New Year's Day to South Florida to work at a church down there in Delray Beach, Florida. My mother-in-law and my father-in-law show up at our house that evening on New Year's Eve and knock at the door. I open the door, figured they're there to tell us goodbye, and my mother-in-law is holding a baby boy, chunky little 4-month-old baby boy who had just been rescued out of a really dangerous living situation. In that moment, I heard God just speak to my heart, really almost for the first time. It was crazy scary, but I heard him say, "You're his daddy." I didn't never met this boy, but in a moment, I felt like I would die for him. I would go hungry for him. I would do anything it took to make sure he was okay, and I was terrified at how I felt. In fact, I didn't tell my wife until the next day. We're driving to South Florida. My wife is in the car behind me, and I call her, and I said, "I think that's our little boy back there." She said, "I think that is our little boy. Let's adopt him." And so we went through the process with foster care and being a safe family, and then eventually adopting him. That little boy is 8 years old now, and in that process, we've had 2 other kiddos. So building a family did not look like our 5-year plan. In fact, it was a really scary time for our life of saying, "God, what are you calling us to?" But my father-in-law put it this way: if you're walking on a bridge and someone is drowning in a lake, do you wait for someone else who can swim to jump in? Or because you can swim, do you jump in and do what you can do? I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew how to swim. And in faith, that just means obeying God, trusting his principles, and following him every single day of your life. Those are the things I was doing, and those were keeping me afloat. And I saw someone who needed help, and we responded. We got uncomfortable, and I don't regret it for 1 second. It was the sweetest, scariest, craziest time of my life, and I get to live it out every day, being a dad of 3 kiddos and an incredible wife who we've been almost married for 10 years now. We've gone through a lot of open doors, and we've seen a lot of doors shut, and we've gone through ups and we've gone through downs, but praise God, God has been faithful to walk with us every step of our life.